Okay guys, good morning. So I'm on the good computer this morning and I don't have a camera on it, but I am borrowing my son's headset with the microphone here, so it seems pretty good. It's pretty cool. Too bad you can't see it because it's really big headphones with lights and they're flashy. So I'm flashing, but you can't see me. Anyway, I just had a really weird I'm researching this morning, and I was thinking about there's been some talk about astrology and you probably know that these people really believe in astrology, and I just want to say that I don't know a lot about it. So I was never into astrology, but I just got kind of curious to look to see what they are believing about this, and I just got curious to see what when Saturn was in my birth sign, just when that was. So I'll just scroll through kind of slowly. Probably none of you are in there, but I did notice, I did see here, Saturn in Virgo on the first day, and I believe that was the same date of that ritual, the Babylon ritual that I talked about. So that makes sense, Saturn in Virgo there. Because you have your male and your female there. And if you looked into it, they were trying to create an unholy union. An unholy union. Because they couldn't just go about life and go to the grocery store and hang out with their families and be normal. No, they couldn't do that. So anyway, some of you guys might be in here. Just if you're curious. Okay, so here's where I am when I was born. I was born on June 20th, 1973. So, right around the middle of there. And, oops, wrong one. Right here. So I missed that first one. Right here. Okay. So yeah, more towards the end there. Now, June 20th is on the cusp of Gemini and Cancer. So that's the first year of my life. And then Saturn goes back and forth sometimes. So went back to Gemini, back into Cancer. So that's my whole first 2 years of life there was in Saturn. But here in the Cancer, it's in its detriment. I don't know. The planet is unfavorably placed in the opposite sign of its home placement. Cancer and Capricorn are opposite signs. So I don't know why Capricorn is here. So I don't understand a lot about astrology. Like I said, I never studied it. I just got curious. Some of you might be in here. I'm just curious what you might have to say about this, if you see anything that might stand out for you in your life. Here, so, all during that time. Oh, I forgot to add this, why this is significant with the Cancer, because I was born on June 20th, but I was supposed to be born 5 weeks later, well into Cancer. But my mother got bad advice from her doctor, apparently, and he put her on a diet. And so she was malnutritioned. And so I was born early. And the doctor said I would die. He told my mom immediately that I was going to die. And so this was something she really held this against this man. But I didn't die. You know, doctors are asses. Sometimes. Not all of them, I know, but anyway, that's in the past. Anyway, so 79 through 89 here. Okay. So Saturn in Capricorn, home placement naturally expresses itself at its best. Saturn naturally rules Capricorn. So I guess, you know, during this time Saturn was in Capricorn and it was ruling, and then here Saturn was not in Capricorn. It's opposite. It was in Cancer. Okay. So it was not ruling then. So, and the reason why I'm going over this is because this is what they believe. And it might be useful, it might be helpful to you. I don't know. So here's through 1999. So through 2009. So again here, this is interesting for me. Taurus, that's what my ex-husband is. And this is during the time period. I'm Gemini, Cancer cusp. This is the divorce period here. So, and then here is where I'm really struggling to get myself in a better place with a better place to live. And here's when I did get into the place that I'm in now. So Saturn, but this was a very tumultuous time in my life, but it was a time when I was making things better in my life. So I was fighting here during this time, and it's interesting to see, you know, Saturn swinging back and forth here. So then the last thing I wanted to see is where are we now? So we just moved into Saturn in Capricorn, right? So home placement again naturally expresses itself at its best. Saturn naturally rules Capricorn. So we just, you know, a few weeks ago moved into that, 5-6 weeks ago. So anyway, that's interesting. So people keep saying on YouTube that we're moving into the age of Aquarius. Hooray! Hooray! It's the age of Aquarius. Well, so I thought, well, you know, they probably are going by this, because this is their planet and this is what they're going by, Saturn and Venus, right? So Saturn's like their power planet and all, and it's like whatever. That's what they believe. So I went to look and I Googled, you know, Capricorn, age of Capricorn. And so this is like the thing that they would give to your newspaper astrology reader people. So you know you're going to the right place. There's your little spiral there to tell you, yay, you found your propaganda site to tell you. So it says, okay, interesting. I don't know. I don't understand this. Maybe somebody could explain it. Dharma, I know what that is, always has a unique take on astrological cycles that I just love. With the galactic center at 26 degrees Sagittarius and moving very slowly, so the galactic center, okay, is in Sagittarius. In a few hundred years, it will move into Capricorn. That is the galactic center in a few hundred years. But right now we're in, it's not the galactic age of Capricorn, it's the age Saturn is in Capricorn, okay? So just get that, what I'm saying here, that I'm just showing you what they believe about Capricorn and what happens during the age of Capricorn. So I'll just read it for you. What immediately springs to mind is the religion of materialism, I don't think there was ever a golden age when humanity was not materialistic. It's just that we're a lot better at it these days, to the point where the creation of wealth for wealth's sake has become a sort of widespread religion. An ultimate value that gives meaning to many people's lives, or so they think. So, okay, so then it talks about the wealth and all this. Okay, so the age of Capricorn, the age of Mammon. Okay. But on the positive side, it will be an age when people with real wisdom based on age and experience will come to be valued more. Yep, sure it will. Sure it will. Hierarchy in the best sense. Sagittarius again, with its bias towards the pure archetype. So I'm going to get to this word here, this thing here, and this other word. The pure reflects our modern youth culture. Right? This is the information right here. This is the stuff. This is the stuff where they're telling you what this is what they believe. And you just need to look a little further to understand what they're saying. Reflect the pure, I don't even know if I'm saying this right. The pure reflects our modern youth culture. This is an archetype as like Jungian archetype. Does not know how to value people. And the tendency of organized religion to worship dead images of perfection instead of valuing real people, right? That's idol worship, idol worship. What we're likely to get in the Capricornian age is the Senex archetype, which at its worst is the appalling old waxworks. Okay, so what they're saying is, we're going to have materialism, the age of Mammon. We're going to have the tendency of organized religion to idol worship. So it's perfect to set up a new world order. But we're also going to get this awful thing called the Senex archetype that Prince Charles hates. Right? So what is, first we'll look at the pure archetype that they love so much, right? This is going to be so wonderful about the Capricornian age. So I'm not going to read this for you, but I'm basically just going to show you, and here's our picture of Peter Pan. It is a Jungian archetype. And Peter Pan, symbolizes this. So mythologically, Peter Pan is linked to the young god who dies and is reborn, as well as to Mercury, Hermes, Psychopomp, and the messenger of the gods who moves freely between the divine and human realms. And of course, to the great goat god Pan. All right. So Peter Pan in the early performances would appear on stage with pipes and a live goat. Okay. Often a lascivious and far from childlike goat god were, not surprisingly, soon excised from both the play and the novel, but they're in there originally. And so then we've got Alice in Wonderland, and that's like the female version. So they worship this this archetype well, it's a way of deifying the child in order to justify child sacrifice and child torture and that kind of thing. So that's what this is. All right. So then we want to look at what's the Senex. The Senex opposes the child archetype, the child idol, the false worship of the child. So the Senex is the wise old man, also called the sage or Sophos. So you see that word Sophos, Sophia. So they're trying to set her up, Sophia, as the new Senex. But of course, in the true archetype, there's both. They're both real. The child idol and the wise old man. It could be the wise old woman or the female child idol. Either way. So this is really interesting here. So the Senex, this type of character is typically represented as a kind and wise old father type figure who uses personal knowledge of people in the world to help tell stories and offer guidance that in a mystical way may impress upon his audience a sense of who they are and who they might become, thereby acting as a mentor. He may occasionally appear as an absent-minded professor, appearing absent-minded due to a predilection for contemplative pursuits. The wise old man is often seen to be in some way foreign, that is, from a different culture, nation, or occasionally even a different time from those he advises. In extreme cases, he may be a liminal being, I don't know what that is, such as Merlin, who was only half human. In a medieval, chivalric romance and modern fantasy literature, he is often presented as a wizard. So this really strikes me. He can also be a hermit, okay? And this character type often explained to the knights or heroes, particularly those searching for the Holy Grail, the significance of their encounters. In storytelling, the character of the wise old man is commonly killed or in some other way removed for a time in order to allow the hero to develop on his or her own. Right? That's really interesting. Okay. Particularly those searching for the Holy Grail. He advises them, the knights or the heroes who search for the Holy Grail, the Senex. The Senex explains to them the significance of their encounters. So he is explaining to them their synchronicities. So, and the reason why I bring this up is because I also looked up, I have one of these old books. I have it right here. And I'll read it to you, the whole synchronicity article, but it's going to have to be, I'll have to do that in like a part 2 or something. And you guys will recognize this lovely book, I'm sure a lot of you will, called The Reader's Digest, Mysteries of the Unexplained. So I'm going through those books because I'm trying to find out, what's changed in there. Anyway, this is really interesting reading, and here we have our list of all of the Senex figures. Now, Jung does figure into this. Now, I'll get more into this, but I think, Jung, he was there to try to explain away a few things, to obscure the truth about a few things. And this Senex versus this pure Eternus. Yeah, I can pronounce it. It's a symbolism of the spiritual battle that goes on, right? That we're part of. So, and this is just a lot of crap up until, so like all this is crap up until down here, and this will tell you something, but you have to look further. And I just want to bring up again, this come right up at the top of Google. So I just want to bring up right up again how they mislead people because, oh man, we're going to get the Senex, we're going to get the appalling old dork, told to us by the biggest dork in the world, Prince Charles. Jeez, you know, that's what we're supposed to think. Believe, Net, right? Your little spiral. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. 20 minutes. I thought it'd be about 15. Anyway, here, let's end you guys with some music.
Okay.
Turn it up a little bit.
Wait. No! What? It's too slow! Too slow. Yes! You want it faster? Yes! All right. I'll make it a little faster. Just didn't want us to rush you out. Okay.
This is what I do now instead of...
Anybody want to hear it faster?
Yeah!
Okay, fine.
Instead of watching
Think I got
Beyonce
flying
videos.
fingers or
crap
something?
like that.
Well then, I'm gonna play faster than you. It's on.
Props to that kid. Hey, some of you guys are starting to look like a bunch of wizards out there. I love you. God bless you.